morning, everybody. We are here July 6th, 2021, and we're here to answer all your questions regarding Canadian immigration. We're live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we're here every Tuesday, and we're here to answer all your questions regarding visas, applications, sponsorships, eligibility, English classes, admissions to college, no matter what. So welcome to our July 6th, I believe it's July 6th, yes, Ingwe Immigration live question answer period. Yes, we're outside. It's summertime in Canada, so we are sitting outside. We have some updates to let everybody know. We're going to go through some questions some of our applicants and clients have actually sent us prior by email, and some frequently asked questions. And then we're going to answer all your questions that are posted live on our social media. So whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, you can post your question in the comment section, and we'd be happy to answer any of your questions. So again, just post the question and we'd be happy to help. So a few updates for everybody to know. Right now, we have study permit renewals inside of Canada are being processed within 10 days. Okay, previously it might have taken a couple months, maybe 2 months, but now it seems like the Canadian government is definitely fast tracking all the applications in a way. So study permits inside of Canada, our client just got theirs within 10 days. And there was a policy that was just released last week that allowed the embassies to start looking and processing non-essential travel applications. Let's say you applied for a visitor visa. It wasn't non-essential. It was discretionary. Discretionary basically means very optional. So they're allowed to start processing those applications now, which were sort of a backlog in the embassies. So that new policy went into place last week. The study permits inside of Canada are being processed very quickly within 10 days. Study permits from outside of Canada, depending on the country you're applying from, can take anywhere from, if it's student direct stream, from 2 weeks to 2 months. But I have not seen anything beyond 2 months for a study permit from outside of Canada. Typically, you can expect it to become faster now because the travel restrictions are being loosened a little bit more flexible, especially if you have received your vaccinations. And remember, everybody, if you're here inside of Canada, you can get vaccinated even if you're not a Canadian. Okay, so even if you're here on a visitor visa, you have the opportunity to get vaccinated. So that's just an FYI. Another thing was the express entry permanent residencies are also now very fast. One of our clients got theirs in 3 months, another 5.5 months. So between 3 to 5 months. There is no news on the TR to PR pathway yet. So a lot of people are asking, is there any acknowledgement, confirmation, any letter? No, there's nothing yet for the TR to PR pathway clients who have applied for their PRs. Again, everybody, please note that the TR to PR pathway for French applicants is still open. So you need to make sure you have your documents ready. The essential occupations are still open. So right now, workers in Canada, essential non-healthcare occupations, there was a maximum capacity of 30,000 applicants that will be accepted. 19,410 have been received so far. So there's only about 10,590 spots left for the workers in Canada, essential non-healthcare. In terms of the workers' healthcare, the healthcare occupations, there's 17,680 spots left. So there's a lot of spots left. The maximum time you have is until November. if you're either French or English applicant. The international student stream, as you know, is closed. Okay, so that's very important to note. So here's some questions that we are having here on in the comment section in Instagram. It's asking, Anush Anasim 93 is asking, should we do RCMP police certification before submitting CEC Express entry? RCMP is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. It's the national police, like I guess it's the equivalent of the FBI in Canada. No, you do not need that. If you're inside or outside of Canada and you're basically, you don't need to do an RCMP police check, because the biometrics you do is already a security check, or the biometrics which you have already done. You do not need to get a police clearance certificate from Canada. Canada already has your information if you've done a biometric. Okay, so don't go out, even if you're inside or outside of Canada, even if you lived here before but you're outside now, even if you're studying or working right now, you do not need a police clearance certificate. Okay, so one of the people we were in touch with on Instagram was asking that, oh, can I do an IELTS without, can I go to college without taking an IELTS, like a language exam? Of course that's possible. That's why we're here. That's why we have those promotions going on for English pathway courses. You can go through a pathway English program and transition or move towards the college program without taking an exam. Okay, here's a bunch of questions people have sent us previously. We have resumed this trouble in this video. Can I send only my WES report without the diploma and translation? So I assume when people are asking if I received an invitation for PR through Express Entry, can I only send the WES report instead of the diploma and translations? Yes, that's possible. If I did biometric in US, I need to do biometrics in Canada? Of course. The biometrics in US is different than the biometrics in Canada. So remember that, it's very different. So German Mata 1, how are you? So you're asking, some colleges have night programs? Yes, it depends. So English programs, yes. But if you want to actually go and study an academic program in a college, it's limited. I'll tell you this. So public colleges usually do not have night classes. Okay, so they're usually during the day. But there are private colleges that do have night classes. However, you have to be careful. If you go to a private college, a lot of them are not eligible for a postgraduate work permit. So this means if you graduate, you cannot stay in Canada and work. You'd have to kind of find a company to sponsor you or go and continue to study at a public college. Okay, so that is an option, that you will go into private college, you will work and study at the same time. You go to a night course, right, like a night class. But after 1 year, let's say, you need to continue at a public college, which will be full-time and during the day, okay? Because you want to be able to stay here with a work permit after graduation. Otherwise, what's the point of spending all that money, right, to come to Canada? So that's an important point to note. If you need help with that, please let us know. We do work with private colleges, public colleges, and we let all of our clients know that, hey, if you're going to private college, these are the risks. You do have to continue afterwards at a public college if you want to stay in Canada. Private colleges are cheaper, yes, but there's limitations. Okay, so you cannot apply typically. If you pay $6,000 or $5,000 for private college here, right? Public colleges are 10 to 17,000, but there you can stay here with a work permit. With private, no, you have to continue to a public college later to be able to apply for a work permit after you graduate from the public college program. So I hope that answers your question. Anush Anasim93 has a follow-up question on our Instagram. He's saying, should we submit only our grade 12 education done outside of Canada for CEC express entry? You don't actually need to submit any transcripts, but in your express entry, you need to enter the profile of your, like the details of your high school, what years you went and when you graduated. You can include your high school diploma, but it's not mandatory in your CEC. Okay. If there's other questions, so okay, there's another follow-up question from Anush Anasim 93. What should be mentioned in the letter of explanation for express entry? Should we mention our profile in detail? We landed in Canada on this date and the studies and received work permit of this date. No, technically you don't. All you need to do is just upload in the folders for each application. That means in the application, there's folders where you can upload your documents. And as long as you've uploaded all the documents, your study permits, your work permits, your passport copies, the visa pages, stamp pages, you really don't need to, unless there's special circumstances where you need to explain something, or it's something unusual. If there's nothing unusual, there's really no explanation needed. Okay. We as a company, we don't typically put explanation letters unless it's something very unusual, unless it's not clear with the documents that we've uploaded. Okay. So John Garcia Ferrin is asking a question. Is it absolutely necessary to migrate to Canada to start studying at a college? Okay, so the question means that, do you really need to come and study to be able to immigrate? No, you don't, John. There's several other options, John. One is that your age, education, language ability is so good that based on a points-based system like express entry, you can be invited for permanent residency directly without studying. But again, that means you should be between the age of 19 to 29, have 2 degrees, 1 master's or equivalent, and your language should be IELTS 7787, listening 8, the rest 7, plus 3 years work experience outside of Canada. If you're inside of Canada, I mean, that's different. But so that means that it's very strict. Or you have to have a company here who will sponsor you. Then you can come here through a work permit and immigrate while you're working. Okay? So being sponsored by a company, or having the perfect profile for points-based skilled immigration, or setting up a company, business immigration, investment immigration. So you're a company owner, you want to set up a branch here, you can get a work permit to set up a business, or come here and invest and go through the immigration PR programs for business investors. Okay, those are possible. If you're in the athletic, art, or cultural industry and you're self-employed and you're recognized in your industry, they have PR streams for you as well. Okay, so if it's art or sports, so it could be coaching or referees, or you're an athlete or anything related, but you have to be very recognized to be able to go under those programs. So those programs are available. The reason why most people come through education is because they don't really fit into the other programs. So German Manta is asking, could you share a list of colleges, public and private? Well, there's over 500 colleges, German. I can't really send you like a whole list. If you apply, if you need help, you can let us know. Otherwise, if you just Google all Canadian colleges in Canada, it's there. There's no one list because they're spread across Canada. There's probably over 500 of them. In terms of private colleges, they're probably close to hundreds of them. Okay. Public colleges, probably over 100. Okay. It's not going to make a big thing for you because I don't think you have time to go over 500 colleges to pick your program. Okay, so if you do need help, let us know the program, your budget, and we can just tell you, hey, these are the 3 options you have. Okay, otherwise, yeah, you can Google it because I don't even have the full list. We have a database ourselves of all of our partner schools, and when we help you with admission, you get the advantage of us helping you with your visa. We're not going to charge any additional fee, and you have our expertise to support you. Okay. So some other questions people have been asking is, how can I prove my professional experience overseas? Well, if you need to prove work experience overseas, you need pay stubs, so the pay slips for your salaries, whether it's weekly or monthly. You need any tax documents that show that you were working and paid your taxes if it's relevant. And you need an employment reference letter saying that you worked from this state to this state at this position with these responsibilities with this salary, okay, at this company, and or an employment contract which would have the same details. Okay. There's another question from Anush Anasim at 93. Do you mean by mentioning grade 12 education outside Canada in personal history section of Express Entry, or should we also mention before ITA? It's you usually put it in before the ITA. This is what we usually do. I haven't seen your profile, but usually when we're creating the profile, we just put in the high school details as well. Okay. Anush Anasim is, how many pay stubs do we need to show for work experience? For work experience, depends if it's in Canada, you need to show all of them that prove the 1 year or 2 year, depending on how much Canadian work experience you. If you're doing from outside, you only need the employment contract, reference letter if there's any tax documents, and maybe a few pay stubs if you want. No pay stubs, it depends on you. I would put definitely some pay stubs. If you work for like 3 years, you don't need to put 3 years worth of pay stubs. But if it's Canadian work experience, yes, every single hour counts, and you need to prove every single hour. Okay. So again, everybody, if you're looking to get into colleges, we are here to help you out. If you're looking for language programs, we do have promotions going on right now as well. And there's some more questions that people have emailed us. So if I was self-employed overseas, how can I prove my experience in Canada? You have, if you only have self-employed experience overseas and you need to claim that, then you need to show all your contracts, any taxes you paid, all your invoices to your clients. You have to prove the number of hours that you worked for these for your clients, because you were self-employed. You cannot just say, hey, I work for myself. They need to understand what you were doing, how many hours you were working, who were you billing, who were you invoicing, who were your clients. So it's a lot of work. This is for overseas, because if you're self-employed in Canada, it does not count as Canadian work experience. Okay. If I have a severe health condition, when I'm applying for my PR, can I be denied due to my health condition? Yes, medical conditions can be a reason, but not all medical conditions. So it depends on each case. The Canadian government has made it more flexible now, even with specific severe medical condition, as long as they're not a public security, like a public health, it doesn't affect or undermine the public health, then it should be possible. But it depends. Each person's medical condition is different. So don't take this as a yes or no. It depends on your condition. But yes, it can be refused and it can be approved. Okay. How much money do I need to show to the Canadian government in the PR application? Okay, so everybody, it's very important to note that as of yesterday, the express entry, minimum settlement funds has changed. Okay, so proof of funds for your express entry. Okay, if you have an ITA now, or you don't, or you're in the express, you have to update your express entry profile if you had the minimum amount previously. Right now, for one person, it has increased to $13,213. Okay, so for each member of your family, the increase. So for 2 members, it's $16,449. For 4 or 5 members, you're looking at $24,553. For 5 members, $27,847. So remember, everybody, the system has changed. The express entry minimum proof of funds has been changed as of yesterday, July 5th. You need to update your express entry profile to meet the minimum settlement funds. Even if you've not been selected yet, even if you have been selected, you need to update those. Those are the new 2021 minimum settlement funds. These are very important, okay? So we have another question by Miguel. If my PGWP is expiring in August, but I apply for a study permit from within Canada, can I keep working part-time with my same employer, or do I need for the study permit to be approved and issued? Well, while your postgraduate work permit is valid, you can work, but if it expires and you don't have your study permit and you have not started your classes, so there's 3 parts to this, Miguel. If you, let's say in August, your postgraduate work permit expired, you have a study permit in August, you still cannot work, because if your program does not start till September, as an example, you are not considered a full-time student yet. So legally, you're not allowed to work. If you work, illegally, that's a different story. The point is that if you have a study permit, but you have not started your studying at the college or the program of choice, you are not considered a full-time student. You are not allowed to work. Okay, only at the time of starting, so the first day you start your full program, you will be able to work. Okay, so that gap, you have to be very careful. Some people choose to work, but that will not be considered as Canadian experience. Okay, that's outside of the regulations. Okay, so I hope that's answered your question. Anush Anasim said, can we update our express entry prof without having any negative impact before receiving ITA? Of course, that's what everybody does. Express entry is a dynamic process. It's a dynamic system. You can update and change your information. And if you have the minimum settlement funds from last year or early this year, you have to change them because they have changed as of yesterday. So again, this is very important. Okay. Miguel, thank you for answering. No problem. Parisa is saying, I applied TR to PR on May 6th, but I didn't receive any email from government. Do you know how long does it take? Usually you do receive an email confirmation that they received your application, but right now, after that, nobody's received anything. Okay, so everybody's waiting. So don't worry about it. I think in the next little 1 or 2 months, we should hear back. So there is okay, there's any other questions? No more questions. Yeah, so quick recap on all the updates, just for anybody who joined us late. Study permit renewals inside of Canada are being done within 10 days. Express entry inside of Canada for PR processing, 3 to 5 months, approximately 5.5 months max. 3 months is the shortest we've seen, but on average, I would say 4 to 5 months is normal. Express entry minimum settlement funds have increased as of yesterday, July 5th. So if you have an active profile, if you have an IT, everything should be updated. Okay? Go onto the website for IRCC and you will see. Okay, let's see. And then what other updates were there? That's basically it. Oh yeah, and there's a policy from last week that the embassies are not now allowed to start processing non-discretionary or optional types of applications, like travel applications, like people with visitor visas, or that were not essential travel and that were not study permits. They're now allowed to start processing those. So there's a huge backlog, and they're going to start looking at those applications now too. So everything seems to be picking up with the embassies, with the inside of Canada applications. Okay, so that's a quick update for everybody. If you have any other questions, let us know. We're here again today at 5 p.m. Standard Eastern Time. That's North America Eastern Standard Time. And we're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m., like we are today at 5 p.m. to answer all your Canadian immigration questions, whether it's school, studying, Hey Rahul, how are you? Nice to see you. We're just signing off right now, actually. We'll be back here at 5 p.m. again to answer all of your questions. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll be back 5 p.m. today. And if you miss us here today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we're back again next week, Tuesday, and we'll probably have some guest speakers as well. Thanks, Rahul. Yeah. See you later. Appreciate it. Take care, everybody. And be careful out there. The weather is nice.